Mhm.
So, hello again, this time in English. My name is Anna Krichler. I work at Public Plan, and we are hosting this panel today. The topic of the day is digital solutions for the public sector. And our next speaker is from Estonia. It's Anett Numa, and she is a digital transformation advisor at e-Estonia. And she will talk about how to build a digital society for all, and she will show us lessons from e-Estonia. Please note that you can ask questions at the end of the talk via chat, or you can speak up. And yeah, now I hand over to you, Anett.
So hello to everyone. I'm sending the warmest greetings to you from a very cold Estonia, but also very beautiful Estonia. I'm very happy to be here, and it's so sad that I couldn't be in Germany in person, but we can't do anything. If we stay inside at the home right now, then hopefully this crisis and crazy time will be over sooner. So let's try to stay positive on that side and use these kind of online methods in order to also engage with each other and share the lessons. I'm so happy that I got invitation to be able to speak here, because Germany is a very important partner to Estonia for a very long time already. You are very good friends of us, and definitely also we have a lot to learn from each other. We have a lot to learn from Germany, but I guess Germany has also a lot to learn from Estonia when it especially comes to different digital solutions. Because if you have heard about Estonia, then this is one of the most digital countries in the world, if not the most digital country, where everything is happening online. And when I was preparing for this call today, I was thinking about, in a way, what would be the most interesting things to you. I'm going to also then focus on our historical background a little bit. So if any one of you would still have a question, why this small country in the northern side of Europe is so successful in this field, and why the others haven't followed the steps. I'm going to explain you why we were able to design this future that we have today. And of course, also, we're going to talk about some of the fundamental things, what led us to build this success story. And we're going to, of course, also talk about which services we can use online and what are the future plans. Because even though that everything is already working fully online, that does not mean that we have stopped. We are taking even our government services to the next level, so even higher level. So to make sure that all of our citizens would also have a very good, I would say in a way, like a very good customer experience when they use the government services, because I don't think only private sector have to provide this very efficient customer service experience, but also it's responsibility of every single state. So not to waste too much time on that, I'm going to go ahead and also show you my slides. I do hope that you are already able to see my slides at the moment. If not, then someone can just let me know. So first of all, a little bit about myself, just a few words, not going to waste too much time on that. So first of all, my name is Anett, and I'm working as a digital transformation advisor at the Estonia Briefing Center. And a few words about the Briefing Center as well here. What do we do there is that my main job every day is to try to help different government agencies from all across the world with their digitalization process. So we share Estonian lessons and our fundamental bases that we use here, so that others could also learn and follow the steps that we have been doing here in the past more than 26 years now, and try the rest of the world to get where we are today by learning from our lessons and following the steps. So so this is what we do every day, and that's why I'm also here today. But not to waste too much time on that, I'm going to jump all the way to the very first slide that I have for you. So I have brought out here some of the very essential aspects when it comes to you building this digital state. And now we have to jump back to the historical background to understand where we came from and how this process started already more than 26 years now. So if you know, Estonia is still a very young country. We have been independent only for 29 years now. And when we regained independence, of course, Estonia was facing many, many problems as most of the other passive and union countries have been facing. So first of all, corruption. And then secondly, also we were lacking of money and trust in many, many, many sectors. And if you ever happen to visit us here in Estonia, there is also another problem that our people are pretty much divided all across the state here, living in a very tiny, small areas. And that was a problem, because if you think about in a way from the state point of view, that you would have to provide access to public services to absolutely everyone. But back at that time, everything were working on paper, and we couldn't afford to start building these government agencies, institutions to every single small town, because that could have been way too expensive to us. So we said there has to be another way, and we can't start asking people to come to the bigger cities if they want to get access to the services, but they would have to be able to do these things more efficiently and more smooth. And then we're like, okay, but what about technology? If you're going to make internet working all across the states, and we're going to make our services accessible also online, then we don't even need to have this, like these physical offices anymore everywhere. Of course, they can still be in the bigger cities, but we can solve the problem by just making things working online so that everyone, no matter of the location, can access services and wouldn't have to waste their own time. So the very first thing that we did was in 1994 when we drafted the first document to the parliament, saying that from now on, we're going to start focusing on building this digital state. You heard it right, 1994, the first year. So we didn't need any kind of wake-up call from the pandemic time that it's time to start building this society, but we already were thinking about these things more than 26 years ago now. So the first step, of course, was to provide a very good internet connection. This is what we have been doing together with our private sector ICT companies, telecom companies, and together with eHealth from Sweden. And today, the entire country has been fully covered with internet connection. And then, of course, also one thing that I want all of you to also know is that, and also to learn from us in that sense, is that you also have to start educating your people. You can't start just building services and then expect people to start using them. First of all, you have to provide them a good education. That's what we did since the very early days for students from early age, and then of course for the university students. And you can't forget about your elderly people. So that's very essential as well. We provided also education, the computer programs to elderly people for free, so that everyone who felt that they don't have enough knowledge could also learn how to use the computer. And that was financed by the state. So I know how important also education is for Germany. So I would suggest you to start with this step first. After many years of hard work now, 99% of our government services are already fully accessible online. So the only things that I still have to show up for is getting married and getting divorced. And that's pretty much it. So right now, why this law was possible was because we introduced in the year of 2002 our electronic ID cards. These are these plastic, small, tiny cards. So if you would ask right now me to leave my computer and go and take my wallet and to show you what do I have in wallet, then I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't have anything there, because the only things that I carry with me is my credit card and my ID card, and they can fit behind of my my mobile phone. So this is all I carry, because I can do almost everything with this one specific card here. This is my driving license. I travel with a card. My prescriptions, medicals are accessible with this chip here. Then this is my loyalty card in different shops. Also my library cards, and of course many other things that I can also do with this one single card only. So it is a mandatory and compulsory document, and everyone in Estonia needs to have this card. And as you can see, 98% of our population today already have this card. So that shows why this was necessary to make this compulsory, so that everyone would be starting this, starting to use this card as well here. But if you're thinking about there in Germany, I know how important the security also is for German people and the data protection side. So of course, if a country has 99% of its services working online, it's our responsibility to make sure that also the security has been provided on a highest level. This is what we have been doing. So Estonia is the first country in the world who also uses blockchain on a national level to make sure that our data has been stored very securely. And of course, also we have a very secure data exchange way as well there. So that's why KSI blockchain was introduced also in Estonia. And if any one of you is thinking there, but how much do you win, or what are the biggest advantages of having these solutions? I can tell you that we have been trying to do some of the calculations which have been very, very difficult because we don't have anything to compare to. But I can tell you that just by signing documents online, and my digital signature is coming with the card or my mobile ID, just by signing documents online, each of our citizens in Estonia saves 5 days per year. Think about this number. It's like extra week of vacation that you can get because you don't have to go to the different institutions and sign your things on paper there. And our government is saving 2% of its GDP each year just by providing a digital signature solution to our citizen. I was only covering one solution out of 1,000 of them right now. So the advantages are very, very, very big there. And if you are thinking there, how far or how crazy this entire digitalization process could go, then I'm happy to tell you that Estonia took a very risky thing, which have turned out to be super successful. So all of our citizens can also vote online for the past 15 years already. And the last time when we had elections, and that was European Parliament elections, then 50%, almost half of our population was using this solution. I mean, the number was 46, but around like 50% of people were using opportunity to do vote online and not to go to any kind of polling stations. And if you're thinking about the time of pandemic, then I think this is incredible that we have this opportunity that we can actually go and also vote online without having to go physically anywhere. So this is how crazy one country could go. But to move over here and also to bring it out here, some of the very fundamental things that one needs to understand in the most simple ways, how to build a digital society and what are the fundamental bases. So we like to say that Estonia has like 3 pillars. It's like a beautiful house that needs to have these 3 pillars 100% always there. Otherwise, the entire house would collapse and means the entire state. So we can't take anything away from here. First of all, confidentiality. Second, the availability, and as a last thing here is integrity. So first of all, confidentiality. This is the way how our citizens also identify themselves. They use either electronic ID cards, mobile ID, smart ID, or the e-residency solution. And these solutions provide us also 2 different bingos, which we can use either to identify ourselves or to encrypt documents or to sign documents or to vote online with our PIN number 2. So we don't believe in usernames and passwords because they're too hackable, but these codes, these PIN codes have been given to me by the police and border board. So that's way, way more secure. And of course, our different government agencies need to exchange information between each other because we have introduced also one Sony policy so that we ask citizens only to submit their information one single time and one single time only. And that's why we introduced also the XCode system, which is our data exchange platform, where different government agencies and of course also private businesses can exchange information in a very efficient, fast and secure way. And then the last one here is integrity side. As I brought it up before, we have blockchain that we use in our system. And then, of course, we also have realized, and this is pretty clear, crystal clear, that wars these days are not happening so often on grounds anymore, but they're happening very, very often online and almost every other day. So that's why we said it's not enough just to have armed forces protecting Estonia, but we also need to have cyber forces, and they are called Cyber Command and Cyber Defense League. And Estonia, luckily, also has a backup plan, data embassy, which I will be talking about just a little bit later. And to move over here, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, which I brought it out also by the availability side here, was the XCode. Just very simply and quickly, I'm trying to explain to you why this is an efficient system and how does that work. So we introduced the XCode system data exchange platform, which is an open source, by the way, platform. So already since the year 2001, and of course this was also implemented by the ICT company, private company. And every single institution who wants to operate in our market needs to join the system. They can still operate in their internal systems, but joining XCode will make their data readable, and they can exchange that in a very efficient and a fast way there. So if you have successfully joined the XCode system, of course, you need to fill all the requirements such as GDPR regulations, having a data protection officer, and many, many other security aspects. Then you need to sign also agreement with other members of XCode. So there is absolutely no institution in Estonia who would have access to all of our data. It's very, very limited access, and only for these parts who actually have a right to know this information. And what do I mean about right to know this information is that they need to have these mutual agreements that they both agree that they need to exchange their information in order to provide their services. For example, the banking sector, as you can see on the right corner there. Banking sector, as a private sector, would never need to know about my medical records. They got nothing to do with my headaches, or if I have had a positive corona test. They don't need to know this information in order to give me a loan from the bank. So they don't have access there. It's very, very limited. For example, I was just checking before our call that my bank currently only has 5 agreements with 5 different institutions, and that's about it. They don't share more information there. Last year, we had 1.3 billion transactions between different government agencies, and 97% of the cases, these were fully automized, which means that there wasn't any human being behind there, but it was automized by the computers, which saves so much time and money and makes the system work much more efficient. And luckily, there has been many other countries who have realized that this is a very efficient system and helps them at the same time provide a lot of transparency. So they have been also exporting this solution to Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Ukraine, Namibia, Japan, and there are a couple of other countries which might interest you, but I can't announce that yet. But another thing that comes also with the XCode and this kind of data exchange is that we have provided all of our citizens a data tracker, which is accessible from our state platform. And I guess this would be something, the most beneficial thing for German people who are very interested with data protection. So each of our citizens can see from the data tracker which government agency, at what time of the day, which part of their information have been looking for or has been exchanging with other members. Can you imagine? You can track all this information because you have the full transparency and the power in your hands over your information. Because I'm telling you, your government is not the owner of your information. You are the owner of your information, and you should have the power fully in your hands, not the other way around. That's so important to understand about. And to continue with all the security things here, so cybersecurity remains one of the most essential things to us, obviously, and we have been investing a lot of money there because we know that when one thing would go wrong in our cyber sense, then the entire society would lose the trust to digitalization, and not only in Estonia but in the rest of the world. So we can't afford that. So in the year 2007, Estonia was facing the very first cyber attack on a large national level. We were lucky because the XCode system was already in use, which meant that we didn't lose much information only from one private bank, and then some of the media platforms were taken down. But none of our public institutions, they were not, they didn't lose anything because they could just cut the links and no data exchanges were happening for a couple of days. So we just tried to avoid that. But this showed us that this is a very, very also great system to make sure that our data has been stored securely, and we can fully trust in that. And a year after, NATO decided to also bring its cybersecurity headquarters, so CCD-COE, center to Estonia. So the headquarters is based here. So all the experts are working to make also the NATO cyberspace as a very secure place. They're working here from Tallinn, and also the European United Agency, which might be more well known to you as EU-LISA. So EU-LISA headquarters is also just a couple of kilometers away from my home here. So I'm happy that we can work with all these smart people from all across the world to make sure that the European Union and NATO is more safe place to live, especially in the cyber sense here. Cyber defense, cyber command, I already covered, and also since the 1st of January 2020, Estonia is the non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council, which we're super proud. First time ever we can be part there, and first time ever a country raised the issue about cybersecurity to the United Nations Security Council table. Can you imagine? First time ever. We were the ones, of course, this country, who said that we need to start creating a framework and to start taking every single cybercrime as serious as any other crime happening in the world. Because I'm pretty sure that all of you there in Germany would agree with me here that cyber crimes can have even bigger impact on us than any other attack or any other crime in the world. So we need to start punishing people who are behind of these attacks, and also have some kind of methods to show them that this is not okay what you're doing. And data embassy, which I promised to talk about. So this is our backup plan. So if you would think that what if in Estonia there would be a huge attack happening, or someone would come and turn down your servers? Would it be a big trouble? Of course, that wouldn't be a very enjoyable moment to us, but we also have a backup plan. So we have backed up our information to our data embassy, and our data embassy is basically based in Luxembourg. So in Luxembourg servers, we can get our information back if there would be any need to do that, but hopefully not anytime soon, because we really wouldn't want to go to any kind of large cyber attack. But luckily, we have this great backup plan regarding that sense as well. I know that the topic of e-health sector is right now one of the most I would say, essential and actual things that people are talking about, and especially in Germany. So I just quickly wanted to show you one of the examples of the services of eHealth here, and to bring out some of the numbers. So since the year 2010, our prescriptions are already accessible online, so that if I want to get access to my medical prescription, I can just give a call to my doctor, and they can write me a prescription over the phone or also by email. And I can get access to my medicals, as I said, with this single card only, and not only in Estonia, but I can use the same card, my Estonian card, also in Finland, Portugal, and Croatia, because we have started a cross-border project with them to order to share this information. So 99% of our prescriptions are issued online, and 99% of our medical records are also fully accessible online. Of course, the entire billing system is working 100% online, which helps us to have a better overview of everything. And then, of course, e-health and medical records sector has the most sensitive data of people, and that's why also the blockchain is being used in our e-health sector. So to make again our medical records saved even more secure. And then, of course, also we are currently working on providing an opportunity for the citizens to be able to also communicate with the doctors over the video application. This is currently in testing, but our different doctors and specialists can already consult over the video applications and share their patients' medical records. So in order to avoid these very long queues and less to see a doctor in a physical space as well. Of course, this sector will remain very important to us, and we'll continue working on also providing the best user experience when people need to get access to their medical records. And to move over here, as we have just 5 minutes to go here, I also wanted to talk about our future plans. So if we have 99% of the things working online, it still does not mean that we are done. It means that we have to even think about something more crazy. And we have been doing this in a full speed. And our biggest plan today is to make our services working fully proactive, so that we do not want our citizens to be asking for the services anymore, but we would like to offer them these things in a proactive way. So, for example, when a baby has been born in an Estonian hospital, then the doctor is registering a baby's birth, and then birth certification goes fully online. The parents officially become parents by the system, are confirmed from the system, and then the system automatically will send an email from the parents and saying, congratulations on your newborn baby, and you are now allowed to get access to your family benefits. And please do confirm that this is your bank, this is your right bank account, and we will transfer this money to your bank account. And again, the parents of a newborn baby do not have to go and ask for the benefits and go to different institutions. They can also register a child and name. And also another service that is going to be live soon is that they can already also 6 years ahead choose their baby's high school that they want their kid to go to and reserve a place there in 7 years ahead, which helps our municipalities to make much better decisions in the future, so that they can also be 100% sure that this is that this place has been reserved, and they can see how many teachers and how many classrooms they need in 6 or 7 years of time. So this is how we're, or where we are moving in that direction. And then, of course, we will be replacing some of our public services by AI solutions. And by the end of this year, 50 public services will be replaced by AI, so to make things also working much faster and much more efficient. As I brought it up before, that we have cross-border projects with some other states. We'll continue to do that, not only in the medical sector, but in many other sectors as well. So we truly believe that there is no point of having a free movement of European Union if our data is not moving with us. So that's what we're currently fully working on, to make sure that that also when we move to another country, then our data would come with us as well. And that's why, especially in the sector of smart city too, then these cross-border projects are pretty much needed. And then we are trying to also provide a much more personalized medicine system. So we have been collecting gene tests from people, and then they can also easily also in that sense be more sure about their medical system and so on there. And now to finish with the very last slide here, I want to share with you also our lessons learned. So something that you can learn from us and wouldn't repeat the same mistakes we have been doing. So whenever you're going to start designing any kind of services, I'm also just encouraging you thinking in a way that if you design or develop any kind of services, then these services are going to be designed for people that are in different age groups, because your population is varying between people that are 16 years old and people that might be 85 and still are working, or maybe need some kind of access some government services. So always try to keep in mind one principle, which is called KISS. So keep it short and simple, always, because the design matters so much. So everything has to be very short and simple, easily understandable for each of your citizens, because you can't design fancy things for your citizens, because they might not have or might not be on the same level of understanding about the services and design of that there. And then one very essential thing is also that transparency. So if you want your citizens, German citizens, to be using the services, then this is your responsibility to make them understand how things work. So let them know, educate them, so that they would be 100% sure that their data is secure, and there wouldn't be anyone using it for their information for the bad purpose. So transparency will remain one of the key elements. And then, of course, the security start from the lowest level. Again, we have to turn back to the educational side. So we have been always saying that security is an essential aspect, and cybersecurity is just nothing that has to do with people working in ministries or high positions, but each of your citizens is responsible for the cybersecurity aspects as well. And last but not least, the last note that I have for you is that all of this has been possible only because, and I want all of you to remember this now, because of the PPP model, public-private partnership, PPP model. All these solutions that have been designed in Estonia and we have been using are designed by our private ICT companies. We haven't done anything alone. And I haven't honestly seen any government existing in the world who would be able to do these things alone. You can only do that if you do this together with private sector, and 100% always also including also the academia sector with you, because they are behind of the innovation, and that's why we fully encourage you to especially focus on this side here. So that was it from my side. Just a very quick overview of what we have been doing here in Estonia and how this entire system has been designed. So I do hope that you understand maybe a tiny bit of better what's behind of this story here. And I can't wait to hear if you have also any questions to me. So Dankeschön from my side.
Yes, thank you so much, Anett, for your interesting insights to your digital society. I think it once again shows that there are still a lot of things to learn from you, for us. So thank you for the lessons learned, for setting the example. It's very impressive what you have achieved in the field of digital administration. So now the audience has the opportunity to ask some questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand and speak. I see the question was, where are our government employees? I think we cannot answer that here. Yes. So if you want to ask anything, just write it in the chat.
Any questions?
Okay. I think there are no questions so far, but you can also write us afterwards so we can pass the questions on. So thank you very much for being here today, Anett, and thanks to the audience for listening. I think we now have a lunch break until 2 o'clock. There will be a final debate then. And yeah, just I have to say, stay healthy and see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.